means to streamline that reports, life cycle, automate, and retention policies, and actually it improves, means it improves their compliance tracking, you can say. And the tech stacks I have used in this project, that is React.js, Next.js for front-end development, and for also implemented server-side rendering for fast load times and SU benefits. And we have used TypeScript for type safety and better code maintainability. And also we have used context API for state management purpose. And also we have integrated REST API for backend communication. And for styling purpose, we have used Material UI and some custom CSS we have used in this project. And also for authentication purpose, we have used T-Clocks, so that for secure role-based access. And, and also we have applied performance optimization techniques like code splitting and lazy loading to keep the app responsive with the with large set of data. So all these things we have maintained to secure enterprise from getting leaks.
So, have you worked on this project initially, or have you joined later on?
This is no initial project. This is the initially from the starting stage only.
Later. So we have worked on setting up data sections also later.
Yeah, yeah.
So, why did you sit for this project? Why did you decide to join programs?
Yeah, basically the main purpose, because they are very means it is very useful for large scale building scalable, fast and maintainable enterprise application. And also you know that React offers a component based architecture for it, and it also helps to us create reusable platforms and simple code based model. And it is very useful to easier to maintain. And also we have used Next.js for UI server-side and static side views, and that improves load time, and it's also SU friendly because for internal apps which have cookie. And also we have used TypeScript, so that means framework and type safety, means reducing bugs and improve data quality. And we have also implemented code splitting and lazy loading techniques, so that
Yeah, that's right. On the architecture side, so what are the decisions that you have made? What are the trade-offs? And on the initial stages, there will be a lot of POCs or here and there, right?
yeah.
What are the architecture decisions that you have made and your team got agreed on that and started working on it? Is it a modular application, like a monolith application, or have you built any different architectures?
Yeah, basically, it's a modular architecture, you can say.
Right.
So rather than
What are
monolith,
the features?
because we have designed application as a set of reusable reactions and feature based on the modules, so that it will be scalable and maintainable.
Is it a modular
And we
application, like
split the code
a
base
monolith application,
basically into smaller chunks
or
using code
just
splitting.
have you built any different architectures? So, on the design aspect, so we need implement these operational skills that we have provided, right? So, how do you use styling?
For styling purposes, we use combination of Material UI, theming, and some custom CSS for specific use cases, so that it is created personalization like defining colors, typography, spacing, and other designing techniques. And all means basically all components in theme via Material UI, so that it will ensure class and styling across customers. And for fabric styling, for split style for means make styles from Material UI.
Okay, have you implemented any design systems on your own in any of projects that you have worked on? Have you implemented any design systems on
Yeah, so I have
in
worked
any
on
of
implementing means designed multiple projects. Like we vertically wide thinning system, na, create a centralized team, and that defines.
Okay. Yeah, and then any design systems that you have built? Have you built any design systems?
Yes, I have built means a centralized team, and
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, let's move on to JavaScript then. So, can you explain the differences between variant and const and when we need to use which one?
yeah, so basically where you know as a where is having functional scope, so and it allows redeclaration hosting, and which can cause unexpected bugs, and it's the older way to declare variable first of all,
Hmm.
and then comes let is blocked scope, and it cannot be redeclared in the same scope, and
Yeah.
it is not hosted like that, so it's safer for mutable variables basically. And then come to const. Const would also block scope, but it is used for variables because it should that should not be reassigned. However, object assigned to const means can still have their properties mutable. So that's the difference.
Hmm. Okay. So let me. Can you share your screen? I would give you a small code snippet.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what does it log?
Are you able to see my screen?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So I'm sending you a small code snippet now. There you go. So what would be the output for it?
Water.
So, like what does it log?
आप जानते थे कि पानी यहाँ पे नहीं, आपको सब पता था।
Okay.
वो काजू काय लेंदी
Yeah, you
Uzma
can
Khan.
choose one and
What kind of support you like, Uzma Khan?
Why is it?
yeah, because let
हम
means
लोगों को जुड़ता नहीं है, हम आपको
they
काजू
come
दिए तब अंगड़ा
What answer you want, Uzma Khan?
Actually, I think it will return false
Explain why would it return false?
because NaN is not equal to anything, even itself. So to
सामने
check
स्मार्ट
for
बाजार
NaN, we
चलिएगा
use
क्या?
number
कुछ
dot
कुछ खरीदेंगे?
is NaN, I think.
वैसे भी हम लोग इस वाले स्मार्ट बाजार में जब से खुला तब से कहाँ गए?
What is the data type it has to compare? Do you know
चलिएगा क्या?
anything on that?
देखता हूँ.
Yeah, because it not a number na, so its data type in JavaScript is number.
So if it's a number, then it should be true, right?
Yeah, because NaN is not equal to anything, including itself. So NaN, when compared to means it both returns false.
Okay. Yeah. So can you explain about closures in JavaScript and when do we use them?
Yeah, closures, it's an advanced JavaScript concept, and it's basically.
So there is no problem with the channel. Then what you are expecting?
And even after the outer function has finished execution, means an inner function has access to variable from its outer scope, function scope, you can say.
Yeah. And what are stale closures? We encounter a stale closure bug in React, right? What is stale closure mean?
Basically, in React, when a function inside a components keeps referring to outdated values, basically from a previous render, because it closes over old state or drops. So basically, it happens because the function captures basically variable in scope at the time they are created here.
Okay. Can closure cause any memory leaks? Do you know if closure cause any memory leaks?
Yeah, closure can cause memory leaks if they unintentionally keep references, basically, to variables or DOM elements that are no longer needed, and it will preventing means garbage collection. So in React, this can happen if a closure inside a component holds outdated state or blocks, and the component is unmounted, basically. But those references remain so that we clean up using use effect in a function to avoid retaining unnecessary references inside closures.
Okay. And can you explain about event loop? How does it work?
Yeah, event loop is an advanced JavaScript concept. You can say it's a mechanism and that allows to handle asynchronous operations basically by managing the call stack and task queue. So when a function is called now, it goes on the call stack and it executes synchronously basically. So if an asynchronous operation like, for example, there is an asynchronous operation like set timeout or fetch trigger now, its callback is placed in the task queue. And then the event loop continuously checks if the call stack is empty, and once it is, then it will push the next callback from the task and task queue and on the stack to execute. So this way in JavaScript we can perform non-blocking operations, basically being a single threaded. So that's the thing.
What are the tasks that will be handled by macro task queue and what are the micro task queue?
Yeah, so macro tasks are basically executed by the event loop, including like, for example, set timeout, set interval, and input output operations and UI render callbacks. And micro tasks are smaller, basically, than macro tasks,
Like me,
and
yeah.
these have higher priorities and macro task completes.
डिस्कनेक्ट हो
this
जाएगा
way.
तब बोलेगा जाने की कर
Before
दी.
the next macro task starts. For example, a micro task include like promises,
Hmm.
callbacks, and few micro tasks like this.
Okay, let me give you a code snippet. Um, so yeah, so what would be the output for this? What would these log?
पापा कहीं मार्केट जा रहे हैं.
सामान लाने जा रहा हूँ.
तैयार हैं.
Output can I return? Can I return here?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, it will give in order. Yeah, like this order, it will print out 1, 4, 3, 2.
Why is it 4 and 2? I mean, why is it 3 and 2?
Basically, 1 and 4 run first synchronous.
Yeah.
Then promise 3 from the microtask queue. And finally set time out 2 from the microtask queue. So that's the order.
Okay. Yeah. And let's say we usually use SDK wait in our code, right?
Yeah.
For fetch or anything, any asynchronous tasks.
Yeah.
So, how do they interact with the event loop? Do they go into which task queue?
Basically. So yeah, async and await is a syntactic over promises. So when an async function awaits a promise now, the code after await runs a microtask once the promise resolved basically. And means it will await it, code goes into microtask queue. And
Yeah.
event loop first process the current call stack, then all microtasks like promises, callbacks before moving on the next macrotask like set timer. So async and await task uses the microtask queue, and that will run right after the current synchronous finish before any macrotask.
Okay. So do you know this keyword in JavaScript? How do we use that?
Yeah, this keyword basically refers to the current context in which function it is executed. Means it is points to the object that is currently calling the function. And in regular function, when we talk, it depends on how the function is called. So that can be global object. And in undefined in strict mode, all the object it calls the method. But in arrow function now, this is lexically bound. Means when we use this value from the scope now at the time of definition. So, and in class method, it refers to a class instance basically. This keyword.
Okay. So let's move on to React. Can you explain what's React reconciliation mean? What's the mechanism?
Yeah, React reconciliation basically is the process where React updates the DOM by figuring out what has changed in the virtual DOM, because it compared now the previous render and then efficiently updating only those parts in the real DOM. So in simple terms, you can say React keeps a virtual copy of the UI in memory, so that when state or props change, React creates a new virtual DOM tree and compares it with the old one using a different algorithm. So it then calculates the minimal set of changes needed and it applies them to the real DOM. So that's the reason it is faster and re-rendering everything. So that's the reason.
Okay. So, can you tell me about memorization in React?
Yeah, React memorization means it's an optimization technique, performance optimization, you can say, that caches the result of a function basically or component, so that only recomputes when its input changes. So unnecessary preventing it will prevent unnecessary re-renders basically. So in complex UI, when you want to have a component that receives props that don't change often, so we are using memorization so that it will avoid re-rendering that components every time. Then and it will save performance of the application.
What would be
Memorize the